Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're here to talk about the True Position Tools jig, the Kreg drawer pull jig, and which one of them I chose to be on my truck going forward. But first of all, if this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed before, hit that subscribe button down there and ring that bell so you get future notifications of more videos like this, and let's get into it. Okay guys, hopefully you got a good seat for this. This is our imitation cabinet door here, a piece of 3/4 birch plywood. We're going to use that in order to simulate the door that we're going to put a couple of pulls on. Well, at least this one here. This is an architectural style pull that we use on a lot of our rentals, and I keep an extra one in the truck, so we're going to play with that tonight. A lot of times when I'm doing drawer pull projects, I either have my Polk workbench with me, or I carry this, the little Sis MFT. And the main reason for that is it has a really nice little anti-slip on it, as well as I can put this on a stack of sustainers with the Sis cart, and it's really nice in order to roll around and have right at cabinet height or whatever position that I really need it in. So when I'm ready to set this up, I'll usually make a stack of sustainers to fit to the height I want, so I'm nice and comfortable working on my back. Then I put my door on here, and you can use any of these holes. So whatever size door you've got, you can hang it to wherever. Usually use one across the end here, and obviously we can do that today too. We're going to simulate this being the door, and usually I like to get it on this black strip right here. This little black strip is an anti-slip strip that Festool put in there. We snap down that clamp right there, and you can see that's now fastened to the bench nicely. Our True Position Tools jig here has a hole in the center of the junction here for pulls, like a single handle pull. Then it has these that are able to be adjusted out as far as 6 1/4 inches in each direction in order to install up to around a 12 to, you'd be pushing it, but you might could get the 12.5, but up to a 12-inch pull. The stops continue all the way through the jig here with these large plates, both here and here, so you can use the jig in either position depending on which side of the door you're installing a pull on. If it's this side, you'd be here. For this side, you'd be here, obviously. Markings are just on one side of the jig, so all you'd have to do when you know you have, like we have here, a 3-inch on center pull, we put that right there. You can see that we're lined up. Oh, well, we're lined up right there for those 3-inch deals, because when you're looking here at the jig, you can see that we're set at 1.5 inches here and 1.5 inches there. And all you do to adjust these is loosen the little silver knob, and you can set it to any size you want. So if you had a 4-inch pull, you could set it right here to 2-inch, move this one over to 2-inch, and you'd be ready to install a 4-inch pull. So for us, we're going to stay set at 1.5 inches because that's a 3-inch pull here, and we're going to go ahead and drill this in and give this a go. So if we put this here, with the fact being that this jig has a 2-location register points, you don't have to clamp this down. It holds really easily. You just press it into the corner of the door that you're working on, and then you can just take your drill and run it in there. And we're going to make really sure real quick that I haven't put this in a position to drill into my tabletop. There we go. As much as it might be sacrificial, we're not making any sacrifices today. Now, when it comes to the drill, I really like my Festool CXS drill for a lot of my cabinet work. It's just a very handy size drill. This, or like the Milwaukee Surge, is also nice. But Festool makes this Centratec bit. They make a lot of these, and this is in a 5mm because the True Position Tools jig drills 5mm holes, and it does come with a bit with the set. But I really love these because they obviously fit this drill, and I don't have to use a Jacob's chuck. But they also have an Allen key right here where you can swap out the drill bits, and you retain this portion to just drop another replacement in. And you buy packs of these from Festool, And you can just swap them out as you wear out a bit. So you can always have a nice sharp one, and they don't cost nearly as much as if you had to buy the whole, you know, insert as well. Okay, well, let's go ahead and drill a couple of these holes real fast. So we're just going to put that in position on the corner, and I usually just clamp it with my hand right there. Down and through. Down and through. And we're done right there. So the difference here, and we can do this really quickly as well, this is the Kreg Jig. And on the Kreg Jig, you have these little cam locks that turn, and that's what allows this to slide into different positions to set what you want. Or you can unscrew it all the way here and switch it over to the center position and use it for installing pulls. But you actually have to move one of these over in order to do pulls on this. So we got it set, but this one's marked for, you know, if you really aren't doing math great, it actually has your spacing set right on here. You're not using a measuring mark, you're using an actual mark here that says 3. So you know this is on 3-inch spacing right to start with. It goes right into that. You put your little lock nut on the back, tighten it up, and it has a couple little anti-skid pads right there, but that's about it. And then it has a fence right here that adjusts with these knobs, and you just slide it back and forth. If we can get that where you can see that. That fence under there just slides, well, it's a little sticky, but get a little looser. But that fence slides back and forth. And some of the issues with this is you really need to pay attention here on the back and make sure you get this set right where you want it to be on both sides. It's marked for millimeters in the middle, it's marked for inches on the outside. So if you knew you wanted to be 2 inches in, or say for instance for us, let's go all the way in and set it at 1 inch. We have a 1 inch marking right here. If you can see those markings on that blue plate there. So anyway, tighten it down, make sure your stuff is straight, a little extra fun there, and then you place this. And now we come to one of my biggest complaints with this jig. There's no end stop for this jig that I'm aware of. So when you place this, you either are working directly off the corner and you need to hope that this is the correct spot that you want your pull to be, or you need to put a tape like here and run it to where you want it. You know, if you wanted to be so many inches up from the end of the door, you would have to do that. So, to me, that's a real inconvenience. And it's something I really like about the True Position, that you have an end stop so you don't have to worry. It's just there and you're done. This is a very small tool here that runs around $180 or so for the base version without the extensions and everything that you can get for longer pieces. But simplicity is amazing sometimes. It's all solid metal. There's nothing on here that feels breakable to me whatsoever. This is a very nice jig. But it's also rigid and in a T-shape, so if you need to fit it in a small drawer or something in your box, this may be more what you need anyway. But this one actually uses a 3/16 bit or a 4.5 millimeter. So that's what you'd have to have for this. From what I can tell, the only metal parts on here are the guides right there, and I'm not sure what kind of metal they are, and then the bolts that hold the fence on. Everything else is solid plastic. But otherwise, this has held up for me for quite a while. I've used it a long time. It does deserve an honorable mention. It has a nice big flat area here with some waffling underneath for clamping it down. So you can clamp this every time if you need to. And probably be a good idea, being that you only have one point of contact, and if it would slip on you in any direction, you can end up really messing up your design. And getting, you've been in those kitchens before where they have one pull here and one pull here, and you can see it even if it's not much all the way across. That's the idea behind the True Position Tools jig, is to kind of eliminate that, and you're able to not worry about that sort of thing because everything is registered correctly. So if you're doing one side of the door like we said before, you're hitting this one. Like for the right door on a cabinet, you'd set it there. For the other door Opening the other way, you set it there. And it ensures that every pull is set equally distant from the corner of that particular door. Every time it comes out perfect. So I'm going to show you real quick what the box that this comes in looks like. This is their little paper for it, and what it looks like. And this is the case that you get with the True Position Tools jig. And it has room for if you decided to go ahead and big size your kit and get all the extensions and everything. It appears to me that everything would fit in this case pretty easily. This looks like where the extensions would go. I don't really do any cabinets that require those, so I'm not going to bother with it for now, and if that job ever pops up, I'll grab it. But for me, this has just been a really nice game changer that has sped up cabinet pulls tremendously. The offset from the edge of the door that we were talking about with the fence on the back of this one is done with this big fence here on this one. And you can see the markings here. Nice, brightly lit markings. We're set at 1.5 inches in. So all you do is release this, and you can slide this to inset this as far as you wanted. Like if you needed pulls in the center of like a bifold door or something, you could set that there, no problem. If you also want, you can take this off. If you're just doing something where you need to be up in the center of a door, you can take off this. You can take off pretty much everything off of this. For getting up, when you're farther from the edges, you can flip this around and run it back in this way, and it works the same way in reverse. But typically for me, I need it in this position so that I can get up closer to the side of a door with the jig. But I just finished using this to do about a 35-40 door kitchen, and it was so remarkably faster than this Kreg that I'm going to just stick with this now. Not to mention, this is just such a nice quality instrument. But anyway, that is a little bit of that. Let's run one more in the opposite end of this. You can see it drill one more time. We'll flip this, drop it down, and we'll drill using the back of the jig this time. So you can see that both sides of this just like that. Both sides work extremely well. It's the exact same setup on both sides, so there's really no issues. But anyway, that's the True Position Jig. Okay guys, so what did you think of this? I have been incredibly impressed so far. This is also the first time I'm shooting a video on my new outfit here, where hopefully I can show things a little better from the ground. I'm going to go ahead and unclip this now and install this pull on one of these that we just drilled. You can see right there is where we drilled, so we can pop our screws right through. But what did y'all think of this, and what kind of jigs are y'all using for this application? I know there are a lot of really reasonable versions of this on Amazon and stuff like that, you know, Chinese ones and stuff. Probably if you're on this channel, you're probably not running a lot of Chinese stuff. I could be wrong, but it seems like these days most stuff's made there, and if you needed to get a cheap jig, they do make a few. So anyway, just want to show you, that's how nice and easy a pull goes on there. You know, whether that be like a drawer pull right there, nice little drawer front. Yeah, so anyway, thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching these videos and keeping me inspired to keep making them. Hopefully they're getting a little better for you as time goes on, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.